I was thinking we're going to do this whole program in silence today. Good morning. Hi, Sharona.
Good
Hello,
morning,
everybody.
Tamar. Good morning, everyone.
So nice to see you.
We start today again with a moment of silence.
Okay.
That path that we want to illuminate is in there. So let's connect to it.
We started today with this thought, and when we talk about it, and I really see how during my day, it keeps coming, this thought, and it's really interesting what happens with it. Illuminating the way helps us make the better choices.
Yeah,
Um, I found it starts, I feel how it changes my day.
that's great.
So I'm curious to hear what's our thought for today.
Right. Anyway, just to say that definitely that's also my experience. And I was just talking with someone yesterday who was saying how much she actually enjoys our little program. And she was watching it since the time we were broadcasting at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. And she was saying so much better to have it in the morning because you really start your day not with all the ordinary stuff which could just drain you, but you start your day with different perspectives, something pulling you into the larger picture. And I'm such a big believer of the larger picture in terms of what's going to keep us moving forward nowadays. So, anyway, the thought for today, you are unlimited actors.
Hmm. אז אני אתרגם רגע בעברית. אתה או את או אתם שחקנים בלתי מוגבלים. And that really gives a perspective.
It does. And I don't know what's more like attractive to me, the word unlimited or actors. Now, I'm hearing an echo, so could somebody please be sure to close my door upstairs because I'm getting an echo. Anyway, it's Shakespeare who made it quite popular, this idea that all the world is a stage and we are but actors upon it. I never took that as a working framework of reality for myself until I started my spiritual path. And I can see how that framework for reality has really helped me so much in a practical way because I can say one of the first most important implications for me with that is that if I am an actor, it means I have a part to play. So is everyone else an actor, and they are playing their part. I can't tell you how many times I use that in my relationships and the challenges of relationships and taking up responsibilities which involve other people to help me allow and give space to the way they're playing their part. You know, in a theater piece, if an actor forgets her lines, and just starts moving according to scene 2 instead of scene 5, and we're all in scene 5, what do? You don't like pull out the script and say, "Oh, no, 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 that's wrong. You're doing it wrong. You're supposed to say this. You're supposed to do this." You can't do that in the middle of the play. You, as the one who's remembering the right lines and remembering the right moves, you move even more dramatically correctly, and you speak even more dramatically correctly as a kind of signal. But you can't start saying, "Oh, no, 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 that's wrong." You know? But we do this. At least I do it.
We all do. It's a very deep metaphor. And I remember when I just started my spiritual journey, and people told me it's all an act, and but it's not. You're standing right in front of me. If I go like this, I feel you. If somebody yells at me now, he's here. What are you talking? It's a movie. What are you talking? It's an act. And it was really, I took it from first of all, from the psychology perspective, for saying the way I perceive the world, that's the way I'm acting, and it changes everything. So I just took it to this point, as I perceive, so I act, and it does change the reality. But still, I always said, it's a limited perspective, the psychology one in this essence, because yesterday they told me to speak a little slower, so I'll try to remember that. Even saying to inside the lines what you said. So I think the psychology helped me in the beginning, but it was limited.
Mm.
Because I think as I went through my spiritual journey, and even if I'll say energy journey, which is somewhere along also, I really felt how we can change the reality. So how is our acting really changes what's going around.
Yeah.
And the word actor, which helps me reminds me, first of all, that I'm observer. I'm an actor, but I'm an observer. So there's like um, um, two characters here we're talking about. So that's the first thing it reminds me. And the second thing it reminds me is being playful. We're an actor. It's a game. It's going to happen again. And we can try improvise from time to time. And we have, I think another philosophical question was, so, in Hebrew, there's the saying, Hakol tzafui v'harashut netuna.
What's
So
that?
it's like everything is expected, but you have the choice. And
Right,
it's like a contradiction.
right.
We choose to play. And I think this is our choice. I understand this question, this sentence with having the choice. And having, for me, it's a privilege to be an actor and to play. And now it's not always a nice show, and it's not always a good play, and it doesn't feel comfortable all the time. But it's such a nice thing that I can play. And I'm not the one that, as a kid, always wanted to be an actor. No, I'm not that kind. But I see my options as an actor. And as you said very wisely, and I really love this perspective you added, the others are actors also. So noticing that the others are actors is so important because you're never bad at the villain. I mean, you can emphasize with the victim, you can get mad when you see a movie at the villain, but you're not really mad. You know he's acting. And I think that's a perspective that changed my daily routine, my daily life a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, because what it does is it again puts the focus on myself. So if someone is acting poorly, um, that doesn't have anything to do with me. You know, the whole point is, how am I acting? How well am I acting? Which kind of opens up a whole nother arena on this, which is what's my part? Because maybe that is the part of that one, to be annoying, to be stubborn, to be what do they call it? A repeating record, saying the same thing all the time. Nothing new, nothing real, nothing creative. Maybe that's their part. But the question is, what's my part? And then how well am I playing my part? And to me, that's really been a lifesaver, literally. Because when I think about how I was as a child growing up and then adolescence, teenager, and then adulthood, I was, I could end up in phases which were just like depression. They would have been described as depression because I was so unhappy. I was so aware of the failings and the fallacies of not just others, but myself, but mostly others. How can the world be better? How can things get better when my boss is like this, my colleagues are like that, my neighbors are like this, it's like um, to understand one of the things I'm continually understanding, even up to now, that the quality of my thoughts determine the quality of my energy. And those phases of depression, or whatever you want to call them, were a result of thoughts which had to do with how well or not well others were playing their parts instead of the focus which enables me to improve the way I'm playing my part, which is just to keep focusing on myself and connecting to that higher self.
So this is a perspective that says that the reality, or sometimes as we call it, the drama, the reality is using us as a tool to our development, either if we go the personal development path or the spiritual development path. The reality is like a tool for us. And also actually, when I work with businesses, so in the business development, everything in order to develop, if you use the reality as a tool and you really can work with it. But I think before we go, and you said it, connect to the higher, and I want to relate to that in a minute. Before that, I really want to emphasize the way that we can be actors by ourselves. And I had, for the past months, I had an issue with one of my colleagues, and he was annoying me. And I didn't know why. And I'm trying to do my best, but I was annoyed and I couldn't help it. I work a lot with myself inside and again, but I couldn't solve it. And then one of my meditations the end of last week, I saw some kind of a scene which energetically, not going into details now, but energetically felt like it solved. And it was a scene, nothing logical about it, okay? I couldn't even understand it completely. He was going from here to there, something not logical. But it felt like it solved something. And I felt when I saw the scene, I felt the need to say I'm sorry to him.
Wow.
And I don't even know why.
Wow.
And what was more amazing than that, because that's a vision, we go on meditation, it happens sometimes, but the point is that when I come back to reality, this starting of this week, everything changed.
Oh,
So
yay.
that's really, yeah, but that, and I practice a lot, but I want to, I'm saying that because I want to emphasize how important it's not only our perspective, something changes in the energy. I don't know why, because you said it in some past conversation, the other person changed somehow, but it's not, we used to action, reaction, used to seeing everything very connected. We don't see it all. And that's something about probably the higher perspective,
Yeah.
and adding the word um,
Unlimited.
unlimited, בלתי מוגבל, unlimited to the actor. You know, in the yoga, when they go like this, the thumb represents the ego, and
Mm.
the higher self is our second finger. And when they go like that, they connect the ego with the higher self. And it's such a beautiful movement, I
That's
think.
nice. There you
Just
go. I didn't
connecting
know
the
that.
actor with the unlimited.
That's right. Pure pride, pure pride. And that kind of connects me to what I was thinking about also when we're talking about higher self or we're talking about, this focus on myself. It's not just how well am I playing my part, but what part do I choose to play? Because there are options. I can be the hero actor who gets paid the most, by the way, and gets the most exposure, the most responsibility, the greatest number of lines. Or I can just be, somebody who comes in for one scene and goes out, insignificant to the overall story. It's my choice. And one thing that I was recently sharing is that if we look at the world as a theater piece right now, what I see is that all my fellow actors, my brothers and sisters, are really, really struggling to play their part well, to real struggle, to be good, to not react and to respond, and suffering, sorrow, as if the whole stage is a disaster, as if everyone has forgotten their lines, everyone has forgotten their moves. They've tripped over the electric cording, the lights have come down, it's all dark, and people are bumping into each other. They're just hurting each other. Now, what would be the hero part in that? Because anybody who wants to play the hero part at this point can. But it means that you're able to move even in that darkness without hurting anyone, without bumping into anyone. And you're also able to remind everybody of their lines and the real movements. So this part, this part is loved by the divine at this point, because this is the part that's going to get the actors back on their feet, the lighting's back up, and the play can begin again like it's supposed to be.
We have to finish. And I think I'm thinking today which part of an actor I want to play today.
You're already a hero. It's
You
already
know, it's
been
not only
defined
a
for
hero or
you.
not. You know, you can be the cheerful actor, you can be the sad, you can be a victim today. We can be a lot of places, and you can also light. I'm looking for a hero that lights up the light.
That's it. That's the hero. That's the hero. You're talking about which part you're going to play today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So we take a minute to connect with that beautiful, powerful self who knows what the play should look like and is very happy to help the divine restore light to the stage.
Thank you, Sharona.
Thank you, Tamar. Thank you to everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye.